If we're lucky, we discover places in our travels
Good afternoon, Hole in the Wall Books.
that have so much personality, they become living, breathing things to us.
This place looks a little kooky, but in the best possible way.
I don't know where it comes from. There's a vibe here, for lack of a better word, an aura.
Taylor Holland started buying comics from Hole in the Wall Books soon after this used bookstore opened back in 1979.
I discovered this place when I was 8 years old.
3 years later,
I got a 5-speed bike. I remember that day because then I knew I could bike out to Hole in the Wall myself.
When I got my driver's license, the first place I drove to was here.
Michael Fernandez has been diving deep into these nooks and crannies most of his life.
At last count, I had 7,247 comic books, and I'm still counting.
It says 65 on it,
Yeah.
but they're half off today.
With a super cool lady at the front desk who knows everything.
It's cool because I'm like everybody's grandmother. I like that.
Edie Nally, who sports a Green Lantern belt buckle, runs this Falls Church institution that's so vintage, there's dust in here probably older than many of the customers.
So are you a Marvel guy or a DC guy? Or you just don't care as long as it's a cool old comic?
How many places have you gone into that the longer you spend there, the cooler it gets?
But just about everything that we care about has a lifespan.
When's the last day?
For Nally, 40 years will be the shelf life for her store. She's closing for good August 31st so she and her husband can spend more time with family.
I'm so sorry to hear that you guys are going out of
Oh,
business.
but we're happy though because we're retiring and we get to see our grandchildren and stuff. And
Customers have been streaming in since the news broke.
hi.
How are you?
Okay, how are
Wow,
you?
40 years here, huh?
Yes.
Not long, huh?
Yes.
I'm gonna let it go and accept that it's a thing, but it doesn't make it less heartbreaking.
Megan Lewis, like most first-time customers,
It's got the newspaper clippings around this Star Trek stuff,
finds something unique at every turn.
which I love is literally labeled Star Trek stuff. Just for you Trekkies. Live long and prosper.
Books are meaningful things. They house the scope of human ideas, guide us to new ways of thinking while exposing us to different worlds.
I have an e-reader. It will never ever replace this.
But it's the friends that she's made here, not the books, that Nally will miss most.
It's because we're people. They matter more than the stuff. That's what I think.
Longtime customer Taylor Holland
I miss it already. I'll miss it terribly.
has too much of himself invested in this place to truly say goodbye. His ode to Hole in the Wall, opening his own used bookstore this fall in D.C.
When I travel and I go to different cities, I always look for a place like this, and sometimes I find them, and it's always a treasure. And DC needs one, and I'm not gonna let that die. So.
And God bless you for having this place.
Same to you.
I'm Jay Korf
See you in the next chapter.
for ABC 7 News.